So I wonder if one definition of media for the future is that it's less about kind of chunks of stuff, chunks of intellectual property, and maybe it's more about sort of shared experiences, and then there are a whole lot of things that hang off those shared. So in your case, it's you bring people into the studio, you interview them, they're interesting because they're rich or trying something new or whatever, but then it's everything hanging off it that's kind of interesting, isn't it? It's the discussion around it.
Yeah, I mean, the discussion, and I do, well, for me, I mean, personally, as a content producer, I look at, my comments as, great ways to hear from my fans and viewers to see what they like, what they don't like, and so really, for me, it's kind of a sounding board, like, did you like this new segment? Like, are you watching it? Are they too long? Are they too short? What do you like?
Right. And so, Jeff, when you were involved with the Asian Food Channel, you could look at that and say, well, it's not a traditional TV channel. But it's not, is it? The business model is more sophisticated, and these things that hang off the TV are more the transmedia.
Sure, and when we invested in the company, it's quite clear that in the traditional media sense, right, a single channel media company is not going to be profitable, it's not going to make money, but yet they're doing okay. And very early on, they recognized, yes, the channel is one part of the business, but what does a media company do? How does it catch value from the audience at large? And its presence, its brand, its presence, and I think the Asian Food Channel today is more than just a channel, right? There's a store here in Singapore that establishes presence. There's a community around what we call sort of semi-professional prosumers is the word. That people like to feel that they have that they're almost professional level.
Do they contribute stuff to the channel?
Well, not at the moment, but we try and catch that on. We try and engage with them, right? Bring them into the store, bring them into the studio, attend lessons together. We fly in chefs. So it is about reaching out to the audience in as many directions as you can get. The mobile apps, for instance, right? What's the strategy? How are you going to leverage the content that you have? Because ultimately, it's about getting content out to the audience. And when you have the content, how do you get that out to the audience? And the old way of thinking is, yes, I'm a channel, right? So I deliver my content out that way. But when you have that content, and I think because of the way the industry is heading, it is no longer economically feasible or it's almost naive to think that going out one channel is the way to go.
Right. And thank you, Bob. It sounds like quite a complex situation, doesn't it? So when someone comes to you, Samuel, with this idea, hey, I've got this thing, and it's like, sure, there's going to be a feature film, there'll be this whole community thing. I mean, imagine if Jesse came to you with a proposition of all these different dimensions. How would you begin? I guess as a lawyer, you think, oh, great. This is going to be an interesting contract. I can see the hours ticking up. But how do you begin to kind of scope out and define that thing? Because you're at the sharp end of it as a lawyer, you actually have to write the words that define the thing.
There's so many different types of media now, and so many different types of ways to exploit that media. So there are geographical carving outs, there are also language carving outs, there are different media. Even in just Singapore alone, you can give terrestrial television rights, you can give cable television rights, you can give cable television rights, or ATV rights, or TV rights. There's so many different kinds of rights that we can parcel out from just one intellectual property. That's why Singapore loves intellectual property, because we don't have a lot of land, but certainly we have a lot of creative people that can create stuff that can be exploited in a 360 basis. So a lot of people like the whole term of 360 because you have one product like Harry Potter and it goes into a board game, into apparel, into film, television, etc. If you have one product that actually that can be exploited in so many ways, I think that's what's exciting for us as lawyers, because then we keep finding out carving new rights so that for those particular new rights, we charge an additional royalty or additional payment.
Right. And thank you for that.